Ahoy! I was hoping you would join me. Oh, this is an absolute pleasure. I do hope I find you in favourable spirits, though. I have a story to tell as it happens. A story of fortune. In fact, a story of such unfathomable serendipity I simply must confess to somebody before I burst with excitement. You see, it all started yesterday. I had spent a wonderful morning perusing the stalls of our village market. It really is a most salubrious corporation which frequents the village green as regular as clockwork on the second Wednesday of every month, thus my subsequent acquisition of a few existential imperatives. I've always felt it's the least I can do to offer my patronage in return for such a meritorious service to the Shire. Anyway, so I went to the market and I'd only taken sixpence to spend, and like a fool I'd squandered almost half of that immediately on arrival. Lemonade and periwinkles. I'm such a buffoon, so easily seduced by the sweet smell of fruit drinks and steamed gastropods. So I'd purchased all that I could afford and decided to head back on home. But you see, I'd also managed to acquire a specimen cauliflower from my good friend and neighbour, Mrs. Mackenzie. But you see, I've been carrying this cauliflower around for so long, I was becoming rather attached to it. In fact, I cannot lie, I was rather envious, and wished for one myself. Well, I suspect this is where the heavens must have heard my lamentations. Good health, for I had gone no more than 30 paces homeward bound when I became aware of some commotion going on in the field next to me, the other side of the hedgerow. My curiosity naturally led me to the source of this calamity, where I happened upon 3 women, rather rustic in appearance, perhaps of middle years, a formidable-looking trio. They were all rummaging through an old crate of vegetables, which I believe must have been discarded or perhaps left behind in compliments of the greengrocer, and these women were patently very keen to exploit the situation. Well, I can tell you, I was also very keen to get in on the action if I could, so I decided to just stand and watch for a moment. As I did, I noticed something on the floor, lying in the shadows, just behind the confusion of this feminine fiasco, and its silhouette certainly did suggest to me that it was vegetable-related. Oh, my word, what if it was a cauliflower? Could be a cabbage. I don't know. But whatever it is, from where I was standing, it was the size of a Bally cannonball. Oh, this is very interesting. I need some illumination on this discovery. So I sauntered ever closer towards this rogue vegetable. All the time I was staring into vacancy, as it were, so as not to raise any suspicion of my plan of cunning. You see, I know an opportunity when one is presented, and this was it. It was also very exciting. But I had to gather my thoughts. There's no time to stand and ponder. If I were to be victorious in this conquest, then timing will prove fundamental. It was all happening so quickly. I could feel the hairs upright on the back of my neck. My pulse began to quicken. I glanced over at the women. They were still busy rummaging through the crate. I glanced behind them, on the floor, at the object of my affections. He was still as handsome. Oh, come on, old chap, it's now or never. Fortune favours the brave, remember. Fortune favours the brave. And that's when I took the deepest of breaths. I turned. I took 3 or 4 intrepid steps towards the prize, and at the most opportune moment I leapt forward and swooped in on the unsuspecting Brassica, grasping it with both hands, and then thrusting it to the inside of my jacket via my left lapel. In a moment I was up on my feet as if nothing had happened. I wonder if they've seen me. I slowly turned my gaze towards the women. Oh, they were all looking at me. Good day to you, ladies. I tipped my hat. It's been a wonderful day. So very clement, wouldn't you say? They still didn't answer. I haven't got any vegetables on the inside of my jacket, if that's what you're thinking. What did I say that for? I'd just given the game away. I'd better get out of here. In fact, the look of disdain on their faces was clearly observable, as was their rapid approach towards me. I took to my heels and I was gone. The only thing I left behind was a cloud of dust. Oh well, ladies, all's fair in love and war. And vegetables. Oh, what a triumph. Turned out to be a cabbage. Fine cabbage indeed. In fact, such a fine cabbage that as a consequence, Mrs. Mackenzie and I agreed it would be probably more to our favour if we were to share this fine pair of brassicas. And so we did. Had the best of both worlds, it would seem. So you can imagine I'm rather looking forward to my supper this evening. Anyway, that's my story of good fortune. It did get me thinking, though. It's funny you have those days sometimes where just out the blue you just, I don't know, seem to be on fire. Anyway, until next time, I'll bid you farewell. Have a wonderful evening, won't you? Cheerio. Cheerio. Cheers.